so which would be mentioned in the list of tomorrow. So how could you expect Islam to give a detailed list of every country for every age, that custom should be levied to this extent there and to that extent there? It's not possible. But still you are not satisfied. You accept, of course, but
system of Islamic system, what is we see the modern world, and that's why this question arose. If we have to answer.
You know, Islam speaks of the principles that this I have explained to you. It speaks of certain standards of justice which should be equally applied, and the well-being of the masses, of the people, should be kept in mind. It should not be anything out of personal requirement of a group of people to suit them. But whatever is in the general cause good, that should be adopted. Such principles, I mean, this is just one illustration. There are so many principles laid down in the Holy Quran on how you should govern your affairs. And that is all. Islam could not go into details because it's a religion for all times, for all the people of the world. The moment it went into detail, it would begin to clash. It would create a clash between one people and another and their respective requirements. All right. Is that all you waited for? Really? So Mr. Muhammad Abdul Rashid, you can come and occupy the floor. We thought you had quite a few questions available.
He was not satisfied yesterday either, sir. He was, he said it was not fair. You gave me last 10 minutes yesterday and that was not enough for Hazur to finish.
I think he has forgotten his papers. Have you? Last time you showed me in the pocket there were quite a thick pile of papers, eh?
Please go ahead.
Last later. Now I give him chance.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Hazur, this question is from Surah Saf. Ya ayyuhallazina amanu hal adullukum ala tijaratin tunjikum min azabin alim tu'minuna billahi wa rasulihi wa tujahiduna fi sabilillahi bi amwalikum wa anfusikum zalikum khairul lakum in kuntum ta'lamun. My question is this, sir. Tujahiduna fi sabilillahi bi amwalikum wa anfusikum. This anfusikum means tabligh. Would you say it means tabligh?
As well.
I mean,
also tabligh.
Yeah, but sir, as Hazrat Masih Maud has already said that the tabligh is the Jihad Akbar.
Where has he said tabligh is Jihad Akbar?
Well, this is what he refers, sir.
I have never read it. I don't know. Find out first.
In the modern times, sir, I was asking
No.
the other day as well.
You are attributing a statement to Hazrat Masih Maud of which I am totally unaware.
Yeah, sorry about that. Could you kindly explain anfusikum, what that means?
You can't wriggle out now.
Yeah.
You have to produce the exact statement tomorrow.
Yeah, I will, sir. Could you kindly explain?
Because maybe I am wrong, I don't know. Maybe there is such a statement, but I don't know.
All right, sir. About this tabligh, I was talking to somebody, Englishman,
Yes.
and he threw some good points in my favor.
I see.
Which I thought I request you as well, if you agree with these, we can start.
Did you agree?
Well, I have read his points, which were really. He said Western society is very ignorant about Islamic teaching.
That's right.
And we
That
must
is correct.
do something.
Yes.
Second question he pointed out was, we believe what our ancestors believed.
That is what the
really and truly going.
That is exactly what the Holy Quran says. That whenever you approach them with light, with truth, they say, leave us alone. We believe in what our ancestors used to believe.
Yeah, this mockery must demoralize. This should disappear now, really, because everybody is on his own and his thinking is different.
This is what the Holy Quran has mentioned, the attitude of those who are on the wrong path. They say this is what our elders have been doing. But in other things, they don't follow their elders. So it's only an excuse, a lame excuse for that matter.
And
why don't they ride the same horses their elders did? Why don't they fight with the same weapons with their elders fought with. Everything else for their own personal betterment is acquired without any question. So in the matter of faith, must you follow your elders? I mean, this is a lame excuse. This is how the Holy Quran quotes it, as meaningless, hollow, lame excuse.
Third question, sir, he said that it's very difficult for us to spare money in the way of subscription you people want.
If somebody who doesn't believe, it's very difficult for him. Of course it is.
And another point which worries me
Why should
most,
somebody part with his well-earned money
he
when
said
he doesn't
wherever
believe in
there
the
is-
cause? Pardon?
wherever there is religion, there is poverty, and religion brings poverty in the country.
Where we find it the other way around. It is the lack of religion which has caused poverty in Islamic countries, not the religion. When they were religious people, they were the wealthiest people on earth. When you travel back into history, do you have an ascending path or a descending path? This is the most important point to be determined. As far as the religious graph goes, as you go back in history, you find an ascending path. The previous generation was more religious. The previous to them was still more religious. Until you reach Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and you find the most highly religious society. Is that correct or wrong? So the religion, when it was acted in its best, attracted the wealth as well, created wealth out of nothingness. And the society which was found by Hazrat Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was extremely destitute before Islam was acquired by them, was accepted by them. And when Islam was accepted, they suddenly became very rich. And ultimately they became the richest in the world. Is that not a fact?
It's true.
So, how can you draw exactly the opposite conclusion? When religion was truly followed and was in practice, then wealth also followed the religious people, like a bondage girl. But when they abandoned their religion, then the wealth also left them. This is a general phenomenon. Except by way of trials, the Holy Quran also mentions that phenomenon. Sometimes the people, when they become irreligious, they are tried with wealth. Suddenly they find themselves in opulence. And then they do misdeeds and show that they were not worthy of wealth. That is a different phenomenon altogether. But this question is not valid. That has been proved.
Last point he made was, which I don't agree at all. He said your religion was practicable 1400 years ago, but at the moment you can see nobody is practicing. How can you teach
Why don't
me?
you tell him that you are
I told
practicing?
him about Rabba and Qadian.
No, about yourself.
About myself as well. He knows me, my example.
So,
But he
what
said
does he
that he was not really fully satisfied.
What a poor assessment he has made of you.
People do so, I don't mind.
I think he's totally wrong. You set a very good example of being a good Muslim, rather a simple Muslim for that matter, but clever inside.
So what's the difference between simple and being clever? you just said that yesterday.
You have demonstrated
And I was
it.
thinking all day today.
You have already demonstrated it. In the poetic terms, I can quote Ghalib, सादगी व पुरकारी, बेखुदी व होशियारी, हुस्न को तगाफुल में जुर्रत आजमा पाया. Have you followed it?
Being sada, I don't know that.
Okay. So let's change the subject to come to the serious question now. Huh?
A small question, sir. Well, see from the,
Small question are very,
this
very
is,
interesting, you know, these small questions.
Well, this is from Tafsir Kabir report. नबियों में अक्सरियत नबियों की गरीब लोगों में से थी. Could you kindly explain this?
What explanation do you want?